Good day, everybody. Welcome to Dental Voice, Season 3, the finale. My name is Rolando Mia, and this is Zyrus. So, can you believe it? Holy cow, we are now done with our third season. And what I'd like to do is share with you the key findings, the advice that our guests gave us, and basically give you a couple of wonderful things, 7 really key things to take away from this. By the way, I got my COVID shot. Isn't that awesome? I hope everyone's doing well. Let's jump into this. First of all, the purpose of Dental Voice is to give professionals in our industry an opportunity to share their perspective, share their opinions, and then give us advice. And consistent with our other seasons, our guests were phenomenal and gave us wonderful advice. And what I'd like to do is rather than have me be the one talking the entire time, I'm actually going to bring our guests on this show today to share with you the top things. Now, I want to frame it this way. They gave so much really, really good advice, and it was very difficult to highlight. So what I've done is summarize the top 7 things that I took away from this. When you have a chance, please go check out their videos, and you can see some of the things that they have. So our first guest is Dr. Richard Cray. He owns a practice down in San Rafael. And the focus of Dental Voice was to understand what people, how people overcome issues to thrive in their practice. And here is what Dr. Cray shared with us.
20 years ago, a colleague told me, "What's your most valuable asset?" And I started to say, "The lease or good working hand pieces." And he said, "No, it isn't. Your most valuable asset, your most valuable equipment is your staff. They make you a superstar or they make you look bad."
The most valuable asset is your staff. What I took away from Dr. Cray's advice is this: we are our most valuable asset in helping us thrive during the course of the day. And by that, we had a much longer discussion about how it's not simply about compensation. It includes support. It includes mentoring. It includes being there to listen, and not only for your team, but also them for you. So the takeaway from there, and what really resonated strongly with me in Dr. Cray's advice is, don't forget to support and recognize that your team is one of the most important things. And that's what helps him thrive in his practice. And he's been doing it phenomenal. He's had team members who've been working with him for 20 years. And they're loyal and they support each other, and it's a wonderful message. So our next guest, the second thing that I took away here, comes from Amanda Hill, RDH. Amanda is a lifelong educator. She's wonderful. By the way, thank you, Dr. Kelly Tanner, for introducing us to her. The message that she gave us here is about, well, let's play it. Check this out. Uh-oh, what's going on here?
And so I always want to feel excited about what I'm doing. And I do that through trying new things too, trying new technologies and different, learning new ways to speak and all that kind of stuff. I think that's super important.
Trying new things, learning things. Amanda is a lifelong learner, and her energy is driven by her desire to understand things. And consistent with what Dr. Cray said, when we support our teams, when we listen, when we mentor, when we educate, what it does is it gives us the ability to kind of put ourselves out there. The other thing is, in hygiene, where Amanda spends, has many years, technology is important. Understanding how to do that. If you shy away from diving in, spending the time to do that, what you end up doing is you kind of get stuck in a circle, and it becomes, you kind of burn out. So stepping out, pushing yourself. If you're not a little bit out of your comfort zone, you're not growing. And the message that she gave here is that, that's really, really important. Our next guest is was Dr. Jason Auerbach. He's also the owner of Riverside Oral Surgery in River Edge, New Jersey, where I grew up. And he's an oral and maxillofacial surgeon. He shared a story with me about people aspiring to be him, because he's also known as the Bloody Tooth Guy, and there's so many things, and he's got a huge following. Let's listen to what he has to say.
your social network of human beings understand you or like you or they don't like you, and whatever it is, based on who you are. And if you're not really you, they know it. And no matter what you do, no matter how kind of you try to curate your image or curate what's out there, if it's not coming through as honest and authentic, it's not going to play, or at least not in the long run.
I love that. When I asked him, I said, wow, Dr. Jason, people aspire to be you, to do what you're doing. His message to me was, you know what, Rolando, that's so flattering. But the advice I give people is this: don't try to be me. It's great. Be yourself. When you're yourself, you're owning who you are. And by doing that, you can be the best. Be the best of who you are. So by enabling yourself or giving yourself permission not to be something you perceive or you believe someone else is, and being yourself, you're able to own it. And I love the message behind that. And it's very powerful because it gives you the strength, the energy to keep pushing, to keep driving, because you can be your best self, because I'm me. Anyway, our next guest, and this is so cool, is Kimberly Carpenter. She's an RDH, and she shared a story with us that she actually quit. She quit. She decided, I'm done. She took all of her scrubs, she took all of her things, put them in a bag, pushed them in the back of her closet. And then she shared this with us. Check this out.
Part of why I got so burnt out, I think, is because I fell into the robotic hygiene routine. I wasn't doing continuing ed. I wasn't practicing the way that I wanted to. I wasn't researching as much as I should have been. And I think that I wasn't networking with other hygienists. I was kind of just in my own bubble, and I was bored, and we were just doing the same thing all day, every day. And I thought, there's gotta be more.
I love that. There's got to be more. When Kimberly and I were talking during her dental voice session, she said, it was amazing. When she was younger, she shared a story that during her science fair, she was the only kid. She loved teeth so much. Her entire science project was about teeth. And she was like, everyone's looking like, what's this all about teeth? And I loved it. And it even with that passion and much I loved that, I got burnt out. And her sharing that it's because she stopped. She kind of got stuck in a place, and things weren't changing. There was nothing new. And by recognizing that, she actually was cleaning out her closet. And she pulled out the bag and opened it and realized, these are my scrubs. And it reminded her that, wait a minute, I love this. This is what I was born to do. And it re-inspired her, and it gave her the strength to say, you know what? And now she's back, and she is doing phenomenal and kicking butt, having a wonderful time, thriving. So in order for her to overcome that, so she could thrive, she had to recognize that, hey, again, I want to push out. This is important. Our next guest has an even more, and this story touched me because, when what I've been learning by working with our clinicians and our guests is that, what helps people thrive is different for everybody. And Dr. Desiree Yazdan, she is a cosmetic dentist down in Newport Beach for the Center for Restorative Dentistry. And she got to a point where she was really struggling, and someone out of the blue came and inspired her. Let's listen to what she has to say.
Like, where do you want to be in 3 years? What do you want to be doing? Like, how do you want to live your life? And I think thinking of like how you want to be living and what you want to be doing and how you want to be spending your time, and then kind of like thinking every day, like, what can I do that's going to push me forward by just 1%?
What's going to do that's going to push me forward by just 1%? What she shared, and I believe it's on our post too, is that she was really struggling at one point earlier, and she actually was questioning whether or not she would continue with what it's, because owning a dental practice, being a clinician, business owner, doing all that, it's a very stressful process. And she was having a really tough time. One of her patients, a successful older gentleman who was a little intimidating, without prompting, without anything, came in. I must have seen that she was having a tough time. And he told her, hey, don't give up on your dreams. Do it. Own this. And inspired her to continue. And it was, I mean, it's amazing how a simple act of grace can pull you out of where you're kind of having. And her message about don't try to do everything great. The way I took it is this: find that thing and do 1% every day. Find that thing and do it a little bit better every day. And what you'll discover is slowly it'll build up. And then you'll be, I mean, Dr. Yazdan's practice in COVID has grown, I think, almost 20% above what it was prior to COVID. And by employing that, it's enabling her to continue to do what she loves doing and thrive in her practice. So I thought that was a really cool thing, and I'm really grateful that she was willing to share that with us. So our next guest was introduced to us from our One Manhattan Dental friends, Dr. Sclafani and Dr. Raimundi. Her name is Ana Corto, actually Dr. Ana Corto. She was a pediatric dentist in Brazil, and because of circumstances ended up in the States and wanted to pursue dentistry. Let's listen to what she has to say.
Go step by step, respect your time, have great people around you to support you, to say, hey, look what you are. You are amazing. You can do that to yourself.
Look at who you are. You're amazing. You can do that to yourself. Dr. Ana Corto came to the States, and she can't practice dentistry, even though she was a pediatric dentist in Brazil. So she pursued, got connected with the One Manhattan Dental team, fell in love with Dr. Raimundi and Sclafani, and started working there as a dental assistant. And it was quite eye-opening for her. She shared that the technologies in the States is quite different. The processes are different. And she wanted so badly to do perfect that she kind of became overwhelmed with all the things. And it wasn't until she realized, wait a minute, do the best, be the best. Don't try to do everything. Don't try to kind of eat the entire elephant, and it'll happen. Also, what she said was by surrounding herself by people who support her, encourage her, are willing to be honest, and then also willing to say, hey, you know what? You're a good person. This is great. Keep doing it. Really helped her overcome that, and now she's loving working as a dental assistant. She's learning amazing things beyond what she learned and what she was doing as a dentist, and it also gives her insight into what happens outside of the very specific areas that she has. So that's how she's thriving in her practice, and I love the energy that she brings to this. It's wonderful. Our final guest was Dr. Andrew Link. Drew Link. He's an associate, or he's the son of Dr. Alan Link from Dental Link in St. Louis, Missouri. Like the Bilises, but Dr. Elaine and Dr. Paul, he went straight into and started working with his father being a mentor with him. And what he wanted to do was jump right in, and this is what he shared with us.
It's like cutting out all the white noise made me realize, yeah, I'm a good clinician, and these procedures are going well. So that peace of mind just made me feel better about my work, and kind of gave me the reassurance that I always knew but wasn't always feeling all the time, was that, yeah, this is good dentistry. And that's all you want to go home thinking that, you did a good job for your patients.
You want to go home thinking that you want to do a good job for your patients. I love the sentiment and the message, and all of our clinicians express that. Their patients are the most important to them. Dr. Andrew Link is, I think he shared with us that he was out of dental school maybe 3 or 4 years. He was already experiencing physical problems. He was having back spasms. He was having massive pain. He was having all sorts of difficulty in his practice. And he was like, holy cow, I can't believe that this is happening to me as young as I am, as crazy as this is. What's going on? And it got him thinking. When he was in dental school, he found technologies that worked for him. So he approached his father and he said, hey, Dad, I know you've been in doing practice for 35 years or so. And I'd love to bring something in here. He ended up bringing in our system, the Isolate, into his practice. His father was quite resistant about it and said, wait a minute, we're very successful. We have 2 practices. What's going on? Long story short, and during his session, he shares this with us. Over the span of a year, they did 900 procedures, half with and half without. And what he found was not only was it able to improve his ability to do his dentistry, it made everything a lot easier. But more importantly, his ergonomics, his physical capacity, no more back pain, that type of stuff. And again, it was by integrating, by not being afraid to try new technologies, by willing to go out and say, hold on, and kind of live with that. It was a game changer for him. So first of all, thank you so much. Thank you so much for each one of our guests. Thank you so much for joining us. The most important and the most precious thing that we each have is time. And each one of our guests was willing to give us their time. Time is something we're never going to get back. And not only their time, they shared their opinions and they gave us advice. And those are the key things that came out. What I'd like to do is this. To thrive in your day-to-day, especially in your practices, is going to be different for everybody. So the 7 things that I highlighted with Dr. Cray about his team, with Amanda Hill about, trying new things and putting yourself out there, with Dr. Jason about being who you are, about Dr. Yazin, 1% more on a whole bunch of different things, with Dr. Corto about, surrounding yourself and owning that, with Kimberly, rediscovering what it is that you love and not getting stuck. And then with Dr. Drew about, sticking yourself out there, doing things better. Figure out what it is for yourself. Each one of these folks, share that with us. If you have a chance, go look at that. But remember this, there are 3 main things that I'd like to share with you before we go here. And thank you for joining us. 1, people. It's really important. Take care of yourself. Recognize that. Don't forget that in order for us to do that, it starts with us and how we interact with our team. Very, very important. And that came across very strongly during the course of our Dental Voice season, the 3rd season over here. The second thing has to do with being ourselves. We manufacture a perception. We manufacture a perception that we have to be something else. And what we end up doing is expending a lot of energy trying to be that when we should be the best of ourselves. And by owning that message came across. And by rediscovering that, you realize, wait a minute, I can do this because this is what I'm doing. So be yourself. And the third one is this. Everyone, it wasn't like beautiful for everyone. There are a lot of things that you're going to have to overcome. And it's a quote, the greatest glory in life is not in never falling. It's in getting up every time. And it's important facing what made you fall. If you don't do that, you're going to continue tripping over that and you're going to continue falling. So there you have it. First of all, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We really appreciate it. We're loving the commentary that we're getting. We're loving that people are giving us information. Thank you for our guests during the 3rd season. Looking forward to the next one. If you like the content of this and would like to, check it out, share it. If you have any questions for us, let us know. If you have ideas or want to share things with us that we can put in our next season, our 4th season of Dental Voice, please let us know. With that, hope everybody is safe. Hope everybody has a wonderful next several weeks and rest of the year. 2021 is coming around really good. We've got our vaccines. Things are good. And really look forward to seeing you again in our next season. Thanks, everyone. Take care. And you guys are awesome. See you. Bye.